And on today's show, how to use retirement tips to market to the underserved communities. Part 5 of this week's series on Don't Worry, Retire Happy, from Tom Hegna's public television special with nationally recognized author, platform speaker, and retirement expert, Tom Hegna. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to InsMark, Life Specs, and Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey, Steve, it's great to be back.
Well, all this week, I love it. If you've missed any of our shows, I highly recommend that you actually watch them in chronology. Although they are separate shows, I think you really appreciate time and how we build upon some of these shows and really get an idea of what you've been doing. And really, with this new PBS special, this is huge for not only you, but you're really bringing to the public a lot of our really what I would call our high-end featured products.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's huge.
Well, think about it. All these other talking heads say, do it yourself, call 1-800-NO-HELP. You don't need a financial advisor. They're just trying to rip you off. What I say is you need a financial professional. This is not a do-it-yourself project. You need a plan. You need life insurance, annuities, and long-term care to retire the right way. That's my message to the American people.
When we think about underserved communities, I'm thinking of there's so many, and how can women be so underserved when they're over 50% of the population?
Well, women face risks that men don't. Women live longer. And if you think about it, let's just think of a typical couple. You got a husband and wife. Who gets sick first? Typically the husband. Who takes care of the husband? The wife. What happens? They spend all the money taking care of him, then he dies. Mm-hmm. What happens to her? And now the money got spent taking care of him. So women face significant risks. And so there's, I love this article. This was a academic paper written by Dr. David Babbel. I quote him often in all my works. But he wrote this paper, Lifetime Income for Women, a Financial Economist Perspective. And the title was, She Got Her First Job at Age 66. Now here was a woman who had, raised the kids and done everything, and the husband had a nice pension. Well, he took a lump sum, he lost it in the market, he died, and she had to go back to work at age 66 for her first time. I mean, this kind of stuff is happening all over the place. And he writes, there are some key retirement risks for women. The decreasing rates of return on their Social Security contributions, the accelerating demise of defined benefit pension plans, which affect women significantly, the transition of the baby boom generation into retirement, creating a huge cash drain on Social Security, longer expected lifetimes, and the smaller post-baby boom generations who are being asked to support those baby boomers. This is all falling on women right now. And then there's single women, and single women face other risks because guess what? Single women, when their parents get sick, guess who takes care of them? Their daughter. And guess who takes care of the kids? Mom. So single moms are getting crushed because they're taking care of their parents, plus they're taking care of their children. They're spending time out of the workforce, and so their income and their savings are being reduced. So single women face a lot of risks that men don't face. They're highly likely to become caregivers. There's an estimated loss of wages of nearly 142,000, plus lost Social Security benefits because they're taking care of children, they're taking care of their kids. Single women should consider long-term care insurance for the parents as well as for themselves and guaranteed lifetime income. Divorced women face risks as well. There was a study that said most people would be millionaires in America, but for two things. Number one, they get divorced and they spend too much on their cars. So I guess the moral of the story is drive a used car and keep the same spouse, But, approximately 11% of women who are age 65 and over are divorced. All right. Divorced single women may be eligible for Social Security benefits based on their ex-spouse's work record, which a lot of people don't realize. They think they can only get their own. You can claim on your ex. The marriage has to have lasted 10 years. All right. And the ex has to be entitled to benefits. They don't have to claim. They have to be entitled. And the benefit is that the ex is entitled to receive on the ex's own work record is less than the benefit that she would receive based on her record. Widowed women. 85% of the women over age 85 are widows, Steve. That is unbelievable, compared to only 45% of men in that same category. And many couples fail to realize that there's a substantial decline in lifestyle at the time of widowhood. And we talked about it. Who takes care of the man? Typically, the woman takes care of the man. And older women are more apt to have a longer period requiring some type of assistance from long-term care. Women typically live longer. They spend more time in assisted living and nursing homes. They need to have long-term care for sure.
Well, why do you think as an advisor we're really not looking at this underserved market? Why are we not touching this?
Well, I think because many of the advisors are men, and they really don't realize all these other risks that women face. Women business owners. Now, women business owners have been developing business faster than men, all right? But they've been saving less. And see, only 2/3 of women business owners have estimated how much money they're going to need in retirement. So women business owners need to take advantage of those IRAs, those SEP IRAs, those 401ks, and start saving and investing, because they're going to live a lot longer than men.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about another underserved market, the LGBT community. Oddly enough, this is a huge demographic. We'll be right back. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance, designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to the second segment with Tom Hegna. Tom, talk a little bit about your new book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, and some of the ancillary material that come with it with your PBS special. That was really a huge issue.
Yeah, so we got the public TV special, and so we've got the book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Each of the steps has a chapter. There's a chapter on happiness in retirement, because that's a part of the whole book. There's a chapter, tips for late savers, tips for women, tips for the LGBT market, which we're going to get into. There's a chapter on longevity credits and the importance of that, and the importance of life insurance. There's a DVD of the TV special, and what a lot of advisors are doing is they're having them watch the DVD, read the book, and literally filling out applications. This thing is working. But there's also another DVD on the importance of guaranteed lifetime income and life insurance, a two CD set on long-term care and Social Security. There's an audio book, and then a guide on Social Security maximization. So I try to put everything in one place, literally my brain on video, audio, and print, so that whether you're a consumer or you're an advisor, you can learn this whole retirement equation based on math and science, not based on somebody's opinion.
Well, I would have to say, especially with all the re-engineering of our society, the LGBT community alone is probably the new emerging market and a whole new area to play in, especially as states adopt marriage laws and things of this nature. But you've seen things that are really problematic, and we have solutions for it.
Yeah, so there's challenges in the LGBT market, and some of them are, well, every couple must take a number of steps to ensure successful retirement. Those in the LGBT community may need to take additional measures, because many times in the LGBT market, you've got parents, you've got brothers and sisters, some of them approve, some of them don't approve, and if somebody were to die, a lot of these are contested. And the nice thing about the insurance industry is we're light years ahead of the rest of the world, because we've got contracts. And so, like, if a couple gets together and they have a life insurance contract, when one of them dies, the money goes to the other one. That's not contested, because that's a contract. They can set up joint lifetime income, so they get income as long as either one of them is alive. And so we've got solutions for many of these things. So while the financial planning doesn't differ, the reasons for the financial planning differs because of the debate over their ability to legally marry a person. And even though now DOMA has been ruled unconstitutional, there are still some states that say it's not approved, and there's all kinds of problems. In January 2004, a United States Government Accountability Office reported that there were more than 1,100 federal statutes in which marital status has an effect on husband and wife, and on Social Security benefits, survivor benefits, the survivor stipend, all these things. There's 1,100 of them out there in the market.
Now, it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, now some of the states that have adopted marriage for the community, actually, their Social Security, they can actually now get their spousal benefits.
Yes, and it still depends somewhat on states, and so there are still some loopholes. Social Security does deny survivor benefits in some states. So I just read an article that said, well, if we were in New Mexico, our benefit would have been much higher, but we were in Texas or something, it was much lower. And so there are loopholes out there. I just read an article on about the lower earnings that some gays and lesbians have had. Now, when we were growing up, remember there was the AIDS crisis. That was like 20, 30 years ago, right? And we said, well, that's cured now. But you know what happened? Many of those men stopped saving, or they had to spend so much money for their medication, guess what? They're now going into retirement. And they have diminished retirements because of all the money they spent on AIDS medication, or they didn't even think they were going to live, so they said, what the heck, I'm not going to even save. And so there's those issues as well. A study by the Williams Institute found that gay men earn as much as 32% less than straight men. And gays are twice as likely to live below the poverty line as opposed to opposite sex couples. And so this AIDS epidemic caused many gays not to save for retirement. These are things that many people don't even think of. But it's important to this community. And one of the best ways for same-sex couples to ensure income for both partners is through an annuity. It's a contract, so you can have guaranteed lifetime income. You can also have life insurance that pays a death benefit. So, these contracts are important to this community.
And actually, when you think about it, you brought up life insurance, you brought up annuities, which are many forms of annuities. I mean, there's a lot of to choose from. When you approach this to people who are in non-traditional couples, I'm thinking people that are just living together in common law marriage, and yet when they get about I think it's 7 years or so, the government looks at them a little differently. Here, this is a brand new look. We're really in a revolutionary time in our society, so we have to pick this up. And I can't think of any other industry that's ahead. You said it was ahead of the curve. I was like, I'm in shock. Usually our industry is so far behind the curve.
Right.
But wow, for the first time we're in front of this curve, and we're actually having answers for these people.
Right, and there's even the College for Financial Planning began offering the Accredited Domestic Partnership Advisor designation. So if you're in the LGBT community, you can look for an advisor that has the ADPA designation, and that is a designation just for this community.
I didn't even know that existed. Has that been very long?
It's 2011, so it's only a few years old. But I mean, and so for advisors who want to work in this market, you might want to get that designation, and for clients, they might want to look for an advisor who has that designation.
Sometimes your underserved market could be the niche market you've been looking for your practice. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Just go out to our video archives. And remember, you could be wiser as an educated advisor. I'm Steve Savant, and we'll see you next week.